Hello boys and girls, it's Mr. Laddick again. Hopefully everyone's doing well. We're going to quickly go over a ruler again. So when you guys do your measurement Google slides, you can understand this again. Once again, the only measurements we use in third grade is 1/4, 1/2, 3/4. And it's the same measurements even if it's after the whole number. So when I go to all the way over here, I still have 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4. Okay, so this ruler is cut off, but this would be still the 1/4 line over here. So when we're dealing with measurements and measuring lines, we have to understand two things. The first thing is making sure we understand where 0 is on the ruler. Sometimes it's at the beginning of the ruler, and sometimes there's a little space, like I'll show you on the next slide. Sometimes there's a little space, then 0 starts. So we have to understand where those two locations are. And we're only writing 1/4, 1/2, and 3/4. So they're the only fractional pieces that we'll write. So let's go ahead and move to the next slide. Okay, let's look at the measurement of the lines that are already there. Okay, you see how there's 4 lines in between each whole number. So if I'm going to measure this line, I look at the whole number it's after, which would be 4. Then I look at the line. The first line is always 1/4. Okay. Go ahead and you guys try this one. It's after the 5, and it's the second line after the 5. So that would be 5 1/2. Go ahead and look at the next one. If you said it's 1 1/2, that's excellent choice. Let's go to the next slide and see if we can do some more lines. Go ahead and make your selection of what you think it should be. Very good. It's 11 1/4. Go ahead, and now it's the third line after the 9. So what would that be? Very good. That's 9 3/4. Notice how this ruler starts at 0. Okay, the rulers that we do in class also starts with 0. But there's also other rulers that I want you guys to take notice of when we do this one. These are the rulers that you guys will see on your Google slides. Okay, so I have a ruler over here. It's a little bit different than what you guys have because there's other markings on this ruler. So if we look at this ruler, we're only going to focus on the bigger lines in between the 0 and 1. So I have a 1/4 line there. I have a 1/2 line there, and I have a 3/4 line here. These other little lines are other lines that we can use, but when we measure things in third grade, we won't use those. So let's go ahead and try to do some measurements. Notice how this ruler does not start at the beginning. Okay, so we got to make sure we take this ruler, and just like the rulers on Google slides, that we hold the line up to the 0, not the start of the ruler. Okay, and then we kind of gauge where it's closest to. Alright, so if it's not near or on a line, we gotta kind of gauge what it's really close to. So this one here would be 2 1/4. This line right here. Okay, let's go over here and measure the scissors. Once again, we gotta hold it on the 0. Go ahead and see if you guys can see what this is. So here's the first line, here's the second line, here's the third line. So what would the scissors be? If you said 2 1/2, you would be correct. Okay? So the very important part of this is making sure we're aligning your ruler up to where the 0 is. What would this line be? I lined it right at the 0, not at the beginning of the ruler, and it stops right at this line right here. Go ahead and make your educated guess. Okay, very good. That is 1 1/2. Okay, so what I saw on your Google Slides is their rulers start on just a little bit off the first part of the ruler. So make sure we're holding it at the 0, because that would change anything. Just a slight movement. So if I would start this one over here, we said 1 1/2. If I would have started at the end of the ruler, now it's 1 1/4. Okay, so just that little bit of measurement will change everything. Okay, hope you guys have learned a little bit from this, and hope you guys are doing awesome. Have a great day.